Hey guys, let's create a brand new code. For this one, we're gonna make an MP3 player. I know they're a little outdated at this point, but there's gonna be a lot of really good skills that you're going to incorporate into this one. And I think I'm gonna separate this one into two separate videos. The first end will be just front end design, and the second video will be adding all of our code afterward. So let's get to it. Here's a super quick demo of what you're going to be making. Right now I have my MP3 player. It's got some timers up there. It's got some cover art. You'll see volume, a whole bunch of buttons. If I start any song, classic Johnny Cash, it says how long in the song we are, how long the song actually is. I can go through, skip ahead, skip behind, pause, play, stop, go to the next song or the previous song. And I can change the volume. And you notice like a little video up the top too. And remember, in this one, we're just going to look at the visual elements. So let's get that started. First thing we're going to want to do is start a brand new Visual Studio Code. And just like the previous one, we are going to make this in Visual Studio Forms, or Windows Forms. And this part is going to be very important. When you click on Windows Forms, you want to make sure you have the one with .NET Framework. If you don't have that one, then you'll have to let me know so that I can download something extra for you. But we won't be able to get the media player if we're in a regular Windows app. We need with .NET. So I'm going to click on that. And of course, make sure it's C# and not Visual Basic, but click Next. And I'm going to name this MP3. Mine will be 4.0. Because I've made a lot of these. And the framework, 4.8 is fine. Whatever you have by default will be totally fine. I'm going to click Create. And just like the previous one, it's going to start out by building my form. And you'll see a blank slate, but that's going to be where all of the visual elements are. And hopefully you have your toolbox, properties, and Solution Explorer all set up. If those are not there, remember all you have to do is go to View and add the toolbox. You also want the Solution Explorer and you want the Properties window. But all of those are there for me. And then there's another really important part which some of you may be missing. You may not have the Windows Media Player inside of your toolbox. So to add that, what you're going to have to do is right-click on Visual Forms, or All Windows Forms, click Choose Items, and then I'm almost positive is under COM Components. Yes, it is. Click COM Components, and what you're going to look for is Windows Media Player. Mine is already selected, but yours may not be. Make sure you select it, and then click OK. And after you do that, it should show up at the bottom. Let's go ahead and drag it in. It's taking a minute, but there it is. I'm also going to change the size of this. Actually, to modify it a little bit more, I'm going to try to dock it from my properties. So I have the media player selected, and let's see. Anchor. Yeah. I'm going to anchor it to the top, dock it to the top. There we go. Perfect. And then some other very important things. The visual elements, I'm going to want to hide. Now, I'm going to hide them in my code as well. But to hide those visual elements, let's see. I believe it's under UI. Yeah, UI mode. is currently full. I'm going to change that to none. And now it's black. The media player is there, but I can't see any of the play button or pause button. And the reason for that is because I'm going to add all of those elements down here. So let's go ahead and start adding elements. I might even change the background right now. So I'm going to click on my form and change the background color to a black. And now I'm going to add some buttons. I'm going to create one and then modify it. But for the button to add some visual interest, there are a whole lot of things you can do right over here. I'm just going to show you some really kind of basic stuff. But I'm going to change the foreground color. I think I'm going to make it like a lime green. How about lawn green? Background color. I'm going to change. Oh, some extra things. Okay, for flat appearance. Let's see, background image. Okay, the background color is, as it says, currently black. But in order to see it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the appearance. I believe it's this one. Background image layout. None, that might not be it. Let's see, where is it? Oh, flat style. That's it. Flat style, I want to make it flat. And you can see in flat appearance, I can change the border size if I want, just make it a little bit thicker. Too far. That looks pretty good. And then the text inside of this is going to be my previous button. The fonts I'm going to change. And let's see. I kind of like this DS Digital font. Way too big. Yep, that looks pretty good. And then to make extra buttons, there are a bunch of ways that I can do this, but easiest way is probably going to be to copy and paste. So Control-C and Control-V. And I'm going to need exactly 6 buttons. Look at resizing those a little bit. There we go. Looking okay. And I'm going to change the text in these buttons. So this one will be next. This one will be play. This one will be pause. This one will be stop. And this one will be open. And like I did in the previous lesson, it's going to be very important that I actually name these something recognizable. They're currently called button 1, button 2, button 3. And in order to reference them, it's got to be a usable name. So I'm going to name it BTN for button, and then underscore previous. And I'm going to do the exact same thing for the rest of these. BTN underscore next. I realize that this is not going to change the visual, but this is going to, again, be really, really important for my code. btn_play, the pause button, and I like to make sure I'm using the same naming convention for all of my stuff. That one was pause, not play. This one's stop, and open. Excellent. And then I'm going to add a few extra things. One extra thing I'm going to add is a progress bar. That's a unique one. But the progress bar is going to fill up as the time passes. And then I'm also going to add a list box. That's going to show all of my songs. There you go, that's looking okay. I might change the color of that just so that's a little bit darker. And I'm going to add a picture box as well. And then I'm just going to add an image inside of that picture box. It doesn't really matter what this image is right now. It's going to be kind of a placeholder. You see what I have? That's a pretty good one. Image of Mr. De Kuiper. Pixelated. To make it fit, it will default to like a regular size. To make it fit, background image layout, I'm going to change that to stretch. To make it fit exactly. If I go zoom, it will keep the dimension that I had. I kind of like the look of it stretched out. So there is my image. And then I'm going to add a scroll bar as well. And that scroll bar, or track bar, track bar is down here. Track bar. I'll drag it in. One thing you'll notice is the default is horizontal. I'm going to want it vertical instead. So to change that, I'm going to go over to the appearance, change the orientation to vertical. And I'm going to change it, so let's see, right to left, that's fine. I'm going to change the tick style to top left. That just kind of moved my cursor to the other side. It doesn't matter all that much, but there it is. I'm going to leave a little bit of space because I want to have a volume label below and then a label up top saying what the current volume is. And some extra things with the track bar. I want the track bar to go from 0 to 100 for my volume. The line change, how about I have it, let's see, I think it's line change, nope. Oh, small change, let's see. Minimum, tab index, tab stop, value. Oh, tick frequency, sorry. Tick frequency is currently 1, so there's 100 ticks there. I want to change that to frequency of 10. And I really do not need to change those anymore. I'm going to go back to the default. Here, let's change that to 1. Yeah, change that to 1. Okay, we're looking okay now. And then, let's see, final things I'm going to add are 1, 2, 3, 4 labels. So those labels, I'm going to drag one in. because my background's black and my label color is black, I'm going to have to change that so that it actually shows up. I'm going to make this that same lawn green. You can make it something else. You don't have to make it lawn green. And the text at the bottom, I'm going to make volume. I'm also going to change the fonts. I'm going to, again, use that DS Digital. You can use whatever font you would like. But there's my volume label, and I'm going to rename that volume label, or LBL, sorry. LBL for a label, underscore volume. And I'm going to copy and paste it. And the second label, I'm going to give a number. 50%, that's going to be the current volume level. And I'm going to rename this LBL. How about current volume? Another little thing I can do is I can default the track bar to 50%. There it is. Have the value stay halfway. All right, and then I've got two final labels that I'm going to add. How about I just copy and paste this one and scale it up quite a bit. There we go. That text will be my time. And I'm going to label this one about LBL song time. And I'm going to copy and paste that. And the second one, I'm going to call song, or LBL, underscore song underscore length. And we are just about set. We are almost done. There are two final things I'm going to want to add. One of which is a image list, so that this image right here can change to whatever music file I have selected. And the other thing I'm going to want is a timer so that I can actually see how far we are in the song and I can update the time. So to add those two things, first thing I'm going to do is drag in a timer. I'm going to drag it over my form. And one thing you'll notice when you drag it in is it will not show up on the form. It will show up down here. And for some of you guys, if by any chance your output is maneuvered over top of it and you don't see the timer, you'll just redock the output to the bottom. And now, again, I see it. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to rename this music timer. Actually, yeah, I'll call it music timer. Or how about TMR underscore music? And enabled, this is kind of a peculiar one, but by default, it turns off the timer. To turn it on, I'm going to change enabled to true. So as soon as the program loads, that timer will start. And then the other thing I want is an image list. There it is. Similar to the timer, when I drag it into here, it's going to show up at the bottom. And I'm just going to rename this IMG list. going to call it cover art. Kind of a long name, but imageless cover art. And then, how about right now, I'm going to add in my images. To do that, I'm going to show you some kind of specific stuff, but it's going to help you a whole lot in the long run. First of all, the image list that I'm going to use, I actually have posted on Schoology. You can find your own images if you'd like, but if you want to go with the ones I have, it's in Unit 6 under the mini assignments, Music Player App, Music. This zip file right here, just go ahead and click on it to download it. I might have to click on it twice. Here's my download. And what should happen when you open it up is you'll see, well, in the downloads, your file is zipped. To unzip it so that you can actually open it, go up here on compressed folders, click on that, and click extract all. Where do you want to extract it? To the downloads is good. And there we go. I'm going to close this. And you can see I've got a zipped one and an unzipped one. I can go ahead and delete the zipped one. File, home, delete. And then to add those images, under list cover art, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little icon right over here. And the image size is 16 pixels by 16 pixels, meaning that image is going to be incredibly pixelated. I'm going to want to make that larger. I believe the largest is 255. I'm going to try 300. It's 256. So I want to make it 256 by 256. And the image depth, that's how many bits of color I want. I'm going to go higher, 32. And then this is an important step, but to choose the images, I'm going to go into my downloads, music images, open it up. I'm sure everybody wants to add them all at once. However, I end up getting some weird results. I don't know why, but Windows Forms doesn't seem to like when I do that. So I'm going to add them one at a time. And I'm just going to add them in order. And I know it seems like it would be better if I could do it all at once, but trust me, if I do, it's going to look strange whenever a new image shows up. Then just click OK. And that image right there was more of a placeholder than anything else. It looks kind of silly. Here, let's put Frank Sinatra as our front image. There we go. Looks much better. Looks a lot more like an MP3 player. All right, that is it for the entire front end. With everything properly labeled, it's going to be easier to write our code. And we will get into all of that next lesson. Hope this was fun. Keep messing with your layout. Make it look really cool. Make it your own. Happy coding, everybody.